This is row 2, right side. This is the stitch that we unnecessarily moved, but we're going to begin by slipping it. And we slip our first stitch of the pocket because we want to create a chain selvage. And then I also have to slip this stitch because it belongs to the back of the pocket. Now I can get into knitting my pocket front stitches. So I'm going to knit that one, bring my yarn forward, knit this one, bring the yarn forward. So I'm slipping with yarn in front, knitting and slipping with the yarn in front. There's my last slip one. This is the last pocket front stitch. So I'm going to knit it, and now I'm going to turn the work around. Now it's the turn of the stitches that we made to form the pocket back. So we're going to work all the way to the left edge here. We're going to slip the pocket front stitch and purl the pocket back stitch. Slip and purl, slip and purl. And these movements can be combined by going into the stitch that needs slipping and the one that needs purling, and withdrawing the left needle tip so the slip falls off. I've purled all the way across the pocket back now, and I'm going all the way to the edge. And this is the final row of the repeating sequence, row 4. I'm going to work to the pocket edge, and from here I'm going to work only the pocket back stitches. So this one belongs to the back, so I'm going to knit it, and I'm going to slip this one. Knit and slip. Knit one, slip one, all the way across the pocket front. This is the last stitch of the pocket back. That's the last one of the pocket front, and I'm going to continue to the left edge, which is where I started the 4-row sequence. Now I'm going to repeat it again and again until the pocket's deep enough. I've continued on this swatch with alternating colours, which is a very helpful way of making sure you've done 2 rows on everything when you're practicing and carrying the colours up the side. And I can finish this pocket off after completion of a row 3, and instead of working row 4, I'm just going to knit together the 2 sides. So I've worked up to my pocket stitches, and now all I have to do is work a knit 2 together all the way across the top of the pocket, and it is completed, neatened, done, nothing more to do. All done and completed. If you prefer, you can actually work row 4 as usual and then join the 2 layers together, purling 2 together on the following row. The one thing about double knitting pockets is the fabric is a bit looser than the background fabric of the stocking stitch, because when you knit double knitting, you have spaces between your stitches, so it tends to make a looser fabric than the same yarn and needles worked in regular stocking stitch. So I have two suggestions. One is to work the pocket like this, but paying extra attention and holding your yarn more firmly. So to deliberately be a bit tighter than usual over the pocket area. The second would be to put the pocket stitches plus a few on either side onto a smaller size circular needle and work your row across your garment, change to the circular needle, do the pocket area, and then continue with your regular garment size. If you're doing this, I would stagger the edges. So sometimes you might have 3 garment stitches on either side, other times 4 and 5, and then back again so that you don't form a sort of hard line on either side of it. And this should make the necessary adjustment for gauge and give you a nice sturdy pocket. Not surprisingly, in addition to a right-hand side opening pocket, you can create a left-hand side one. And on my next video, I'm going to do a shaped pocket edge, but I'm saving that till next time.